Hello everyone, and welcome to my review of one of the most controversial LEGO Star Wars sets of 2022, set 75342, the Republic Fighter Tank. The controversy stems from the quality difference between the figures and the build itself, with the minifigures being highly sought after, but the tank not so much. We start of course with the box art, and I'll tell you right now that I'm very happy with it. We have a nice black studded background with an orange stripe marking this set as an Attack of the Clones set, with the minifigures highlighted at the bottom of the box. The back of the box shows off some of the play features the tank includes, as well as another angle of the tank, this time showing off the ramp around the backside. And finally, we have imaging on the side of the box, which I've always been a longtime fan of. Moving on to the building process, and I'm not sure I have much to say on this note. It's a 260 piece set, and while you're building it, it really feels that way. There aren't any crazy building techniques used, and there isn't some overwhelming sense of satisfaction when you finish building it. But with that said, it wasn't a boring set to build, but let's just move on to the minifigures. This set comes with 6 minifigures, which for a $40 Star Wars set is an absolute steal. LEGO is notorious for underpopulating Star Wars sets with minifigures, but this set is most certainly not one of them. 2 of the minifigures are your standard battle droids with nothing new to show other than the new gunmetal gray guns, which I'm personally a fan of. This is the first time I've seen the guns made in this color, and I think they come across rather well. Next up are the 187th Legion clone troopers, and man, these things look just great. The Phase 2 helmet molds are spot on, and the printing on them looks fantastic. The purple on their chest, belts, and legs shows off the color without becoming too overwhelming, and of course the back printing looks stellar too. They also have this strap across their chest, which again carries onto the back very nicely. This set comes with 2 of these figures, but only one commander, which has slightly less purple, but a larger helmet and some beige printing. Now, I will say it would have been nice to get a waist cape with this one, but I'll be happy to take what I can get. Given that the 187th Legion purple coloring isn't really canon, LEGO designers had to use their imagination for the design of these figures, and I think they did a pretty good job with them. Saving the best for last, we have Mace Windu, the general of the 187th Legion. This figure looks great, and we always love affordable purple lightsabers. He has decent front and leg printing, but the real selling point with this figure is the arm printing. Unlike the Mace Windu we got in the UCS gunship, which is nearly identical otherwise, this figure has the Jedi marked forearm armor that the Jedi wore in the Clone Wars, and it looks absolutely incredible. Please take note, LEGO, we would really love to see this return in future sets, maybe with dual printed legs to really bring together the figure as a whole. That brings us to the end of the minifigure section, and man, what a selection this set brings us. I'm very pleased with what LEGO has done with this set, and oh shoot, wait a minute, we still have to review the tank. Man, I was really hoping to end the video on a high note with the minifigure selection, but here it is, the 2022 Republic Fighter Tank. Now, I will say it looks a lot better in person than it does in pictures, but not by a wide margin. Let's start off with some of the positives of the set. The frontrunners look really great. The sticker selection on the white tiles bring in a lot of detail, and the shaping of this section of the set with the engines in the back just looks really good. They give the tank a wide, low stance that forms a really solid base for the vehicle. Moving vertically is when we start to run into some real issues. First and foremost is this gap made by this massive center cockpit cover used as the centerpiece of the tank. Now, this does function as an access to the interior of the tank where you can fit a minifigure, but using one piece to cover key shaping details of the tank is a cheap move, and it's not appreciated. I also can't manage to close it in any way to get rid of the stupid gap it creates until I realized it even has the gap on the box, and now every time I look at the tank, this is all I see. Just above this section are some tiles that we'll generously call windows for the tank operator to see out of, flanked on either side by the tank's main cannons. Now, I don't have as much issue with the cannon design, they swivel well and the spring-fire missiles look fine. I think the housing just looks a little boxy for my taste, but overall they're okay. Finally, we have the upper canopy, which actually doesn't look that bad. It is impossible to open though, unless you open the back hatch, and unfortunately, now it's time to take a look at that. Oh god, just open it. What, it doesn't open all the way and maxes out horizontal to the ground? Someone's gonna trip climbing up or stepping out of that thing. Couldn't LEGO have just made this a smooth hinge instead of a segmented one so that it could be flush with the ground? God, there's any space to fit a figure back there. Why do we have this stupid door? Oh, right, to open the top hatch. Sorry, lost my cool there. The top hatch opens to reveal a control panel for one of our clones, so he can operate the tank and shoot at bad guys, or you can close it up and keep him nice and safe. What? The hatch can't close with a clone inside? LEGO, what the fuck? And that about brings us to the end of the review of this set, but if you've seen my videos before, you know we aren't quite done yet. At the end of each review, I like to give the set a score, so let's kick this one off with the play category. Swooshability and playability is getting a 6 out of 10 because although LEGO tried to include play features with the 3 different access hatches to the tank, they just feel sloppy and unfinished. The rotating cannons and minifigures really help this score out here. Minifigures is getting a rare 10 out of 10. Although I feel that a waist cape on the commander and dual leg printing on Mace Windu would have been nice, I feel like the minifigure selection in this set knocks it out of the park and leaves me very satisfied. The building process was pretty average with not much intricate detailing and gets a bland 5 out of 10. The scale of the tank is just too small for an appropriate fighter tank and gets a 6 out of 10. For a $40 set, I feel that it could be a bit bigger. The durability is getting a 7 out of 10 because the antennas on the upper canopy like to fall off, the cannons swivel around every time you move it, and the front canopy is really loose. Now onto the display categories, starting off with the price, which earns a 7 out of 10 and is again saved by the minifigures. If this set had even one less figure or a poorly printed figure, this set would plummet in value for me. The box art was killer and scores an easy 10 out of 10. The aesthetics of this set are totally absent, all I can see is that stupid front canopy gap, and I just can't give it anything above a 3. As for accuracy, I feel that this build is an oversimplified interpretation of a Republic fighter tank instead of a model of one, and that's not something I look for in the accuracy department, so it's getting a 4 out of 10. Finally, we have the building techniques, where nothing overly interesting popped up when building the set, so it gets a 2 out of 10. That brings the total to a 60 out of 100, which is actually a bit lower than I was expecting. Overall, I think this is a really good set at a really decent price point, but I would be remiss if I didn't say my opinion is heavily swayed by the execution of the minifigures. You killed it on this one, LEGO, let's keep up the good work there, but maybe put a little more effort into the builds, eh? One final note before we end the video, the Mace Windu in this $40 set is way better than the Mace Windu we got in the $350 UCS gunship. Now, I know you're probably expecting me to say that the nicer figures should be in the more expensive set, but actually what I want to know is why there are lesser figures at all. LEGO is clearly capable of making a really good Mace Windu, so why did we get such a dull one in the gunship? In any case, the fighter tank came out after the gunship, so hopefully we're moving on to greener pastures. If we start to see worse versions of recent figures crop up in new sets though, we're gonna start having some problems. And that's all the opinions I have on this set. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed. If you feel like checking out my Instagram, I encourage you to do so. I'm trying to get a little more active on that platform. But until next time, take care.